Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
According to the latest report from Reporters Without Borders, 110 journalists were killed around the world in 2015. But what's surprising about these figures is that this year, the majority were killed in supposedly peaceful countries. And the group lists war-torn Iraq and Syria as the most dangerous places for journalists, followed by France, of course, after 8 journalists were killed there in the jihadi assault against the Charlie Hebdo magazine. And India has been listed as Asia's deadliest country for media personnel. And they say that this high toll is largely attributable to deliberate violence against journalists, and it demonstrates the failure of initiatives to protect media personnel. And they talk about the growing role of non-state groups such as the Islamic State group in perpetrating these atrocities against journalists. And we've reported here on numerous occasions that there is a war against journalists, war against the media here, and also we're witnessing a major war toward the First Amendment, which of course protects journalists. Now, something else that they're reporting, it's not just frontline journalists that are feeling these effects of constantly having to pump out this war propaganda. Reporters are now claiming to have PTSD from watching violent news. And this is according to a new study of media and human rights workers. They uncovered claims of PTSD and vicarious trauma from those who are working with video and audio that shows terrorist beheadings and city shootings. And the biggest impact came from the sound of victims screaming. They note that whether it's a broadcaster, publisher, human rights, or humanitarian professional, symptoms associated with post-traumatic stress disorder previously only observed in professionals deployed in the field are now evident amongst staff working in offices, what they're calling the digital front lines. So seeing some side effects, it's not just you who are being constantly terrorized with all of this never-ending war on terror propaganda. The journalists themselves, who are largely, that's their role they must play, are starting to feel the effects of this constant onslaught. I mean, I know for myself, I have my first silver hairs after working here at Infowars, so it's not an easy job. Now, of course, we are heading into the new year, and so with that, there are not threats, but there is a heightened alert. Belgium arrests 2 people over suspected New Year attack plot. Now, this is the federal prosecutor's office in Brussels. They said that Tuesday, police seized military-style training uniforms, computer hardware, and Islamic State propaganda material in raids around the capital there in Brussels. Investigators said that these were not linked to the wave of deadly attacks in Paris in November, but they do say one of the 2 was arrested on suspicion of planning attacks as well as playing a lead role in the activities of a terrorist group, recruiting for terrorists. The second one faces charges of planning and participating in the activities of a terrorist group. Now, Brussels has raised the terror level for police and soldiers, saying that they could be symbolic targets as well as other landmarks there. Parisians as well are fearing terror attacks for New Year's Eve, and they're planning all of their parties outside of the capital. Caterers say that their orders have fallen drastically. People are reportedly reluctant to organize events that involve a lot of people, and France remains in a state of emergency. The capital, they're on edge. They're getting reports of suspicious packages, an average of 25 times a day. So people are definitely on high alert there. And of course, in New York, where more than 1 million people typically attend the ball drop there for New Year's Eve, they are planning extensive security preparations for the more than hundreds of thousands of people who are going to be ringing in New Year's Eve there in New York. Now, they said that they're going to be a total of about 6,000 officers on hand, but they're also going to be having about 500 plus officers from the new anti-terror force, the Critical Response Command. So these are people who are specifically trained and specialized there in preventing terror. And of course, even here in Austin, there is no credible threat, but the FBI is asking Austin residents to be on high alert. Now, what this is part of a program that they're wanting to get more people to start reporting suspicious behavior that could potentially stop a terror attack or an act of violence before it happens. Now their experts are saying that People are using non-suspicious items like soda can or even children's toys to create explosive devices. Again, there's no credible threat against Austin, but they say they want people to report because there could be a threat that they don't even know about. So we went out to the streets to ask people here in Austin, have they heard of this terror threat? Are they concerned? How do you even spot suspicious activity in a city where everyone's a little bit weird? And, we wanted to find out if this is going to be an effective maneuver or if it's just going to be putting people on heightened alert and suspicious of their neighbors. The FBI issued a heightened terror alert. Actually, it's been downgraded to elevated. And they're wanting people to report suspicious activity. We live in Austin. It's kind of a weird and wonderful place. How do you pinpoint a suspicious person?
Just look for them.
Do you know what to look for?
Not really.
How do you pinpoint a suspicious person?
Well, like, they look like terrorists.
It's leading to racial profiling. I think so.
Racial profiling.
Yeah.
Like if you see someone with a turban, call 911 basically.
I don't know if someone left a backpack in a crowded group, or I don't know necessarily think you can just racial profile, but
Can also be like the white guy walking down the street. It can be anybody.
So how do you spot suspicious activity in Austin?
I don't know, being that you're allowed to openly carry semi-automatic weapons.
Does that seem suspicious to you?
You're allowed to carry assault rifles, That's pretty suspicious, I think.
Do you think that this is going to be helpful and really stop something bad from happening, or make neighbors suspicious of each other?
I think make the neighbor suspicion and be too scared about everything. So I don't think it's we need to trust, but I don't know, this time is really it's a good time for bad people do bad things.
If it makes you feel any better, when I go to the airport, if I wear my beard, I got pulled into the interrogation room last time. They tested my stuff. And this is when I notice anytime I go to the airport for travel, if I don't have my beard, if I'm clean shaven, it's like 1, 2, 3. But if I have my beard, I look, I guess, kind of Middle Eastern, and then they pull me into the interrogation room.
We have wide open borders, so.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it definitely paves the way for a lot of discrimination and racism.
We've been scared by the media for years and years and years and years, and they're never going to stop. And when you start doing that, it becomes like crying wolf. People don't listen to it anymore. And so when people are really supposed to be vigilant, they're not going to be, because fear has been so hyped.
Do you think it's, kind of pointless though, because we have wide open borders?
I don't know. I mean, after 9/11, everything changed, so anyone can be a terrorist.
Well, and if it's any consolation to the young man that we interviewed here in Austin that gets pulled into the interrogation room simply for having a beard, well, now the TSA is going to be increasing screening of its own employees because, as we know, it's contrived security theater meant to pull in innocent people. Now, this is the TSA. They say they're going to be increasing random checks of airport and airline employees who hold badges that enable them to bypass security checkpoints. And this decision follows instances in the past 2 years in which employees were using restricted entrances to smuggle guns and launder money. And of course, this is part of a larger push to increase airport security after the Paris attacks and the crash of a jet that flew between Egypt and Russia. They believed that this was taken down by a bomb. And of course, how did it get there? Airport employees, most likely. So the TSA, they're going to grope you and me, but looks like they're going to start getting groped as well.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.